Cops. Weeknights at 7, only on 4 New York. This is WNBC 4 New York. And now, this is News 4 New York.
Good evening, I'm Sue Simmons.
And I'm Chuck Scarborough.
A deadly shooting in Teaneck, New Jersey tonight. 5
people were hit by bullets. 2 of them have been killed. 3 others were wounded and are being treated at local hospitals. The gunfire erupted a few hours ago in Teaneck, and details are still coming in. We do know that 7 suspects are under arrest tonight. We have Ben Farnsworth on the scene, and we hope to have a report from him a bit later in this program. Sue?
Well, tonight, immigration officials are looking for a smuggler who allegedly duped dozens of illegal Chinese immigrants. Police say the aliens were used as virtual slaves. News 4's Dave Browdy joins us live from Jersey City with more.
Well, Sue, they lived and ate right in here. They slept upstairs in this large garage on the corner of Barrow and Bright in Jersey City. Now, what's wrong with that, you say? Well, we'll show you what was wrong with that. These locks right here that were broken off by the Jersey City police. The people inside were locked in day and night. They were living here as virtual slaves. There were 60 of them taken from a virtual prison on the second floor of a garage rented a month ago by a man who identified himself as Chow Young and paid the rent in advance. Chow Young told the owner he wanted this garage to store dry goods.
It's shocking to see that somebody would lock these people up like this. It's unbelievable.
They were actually held prisoner.
According to the police, yes.
Officials here said little as they led the Chinese, said to all come from Fujian province, from what was one prison to another. They called the conditions inside the garage awful.
It's one big room that's been used for living quarters, for sleeping, and for eating.
Chinese organized crime gangs from Fujian are said to be very involved in this immigration underground, bringing people to the United States and essentially holding them for unlimited periods of time till they've worked off the inflated cost of their passage. In San Francisco, this freighter was stopped after dropping off more than 200 illegal immigrants from Fujian.
We've seen every indication that it's growing because the sheer numbers of passengers have increased.
Now the Chinese from this place, as the Chinese from San Francisco, are in all likelihood headed back to China. If you're wondering what tipped the folks off here, the phone company is what found out about this scam. They say they got suspicious because there were literally thousands of dollars worth of overseas phone calls to Fujian province being made from what they thought was a garage. They came here to investigate. Reporting live from Jersey City, I'm Dave Browdy, News 4. Now back to you in the studio.
Dave, thank you. Also in New Jersey tonight, 5 men are charged with kidnapping, threatening, and molesting a teenage girl from Korea. The reason? The suspects thought she wasn't doing well enough in school. Prosecutors say the men, also Korean, were hired by the girl's parents in Korea to check on her. The 18-year-old and her younger sister and brother were sent here and lived alone.
The 18-year-old girl was taken downstairs in the house and tied with rope. She was held at knife point, threatened with death and bodily harm, told to improve her grades, to learn discipline, to not have a boyfriend.
Well, police say the girl told her story to her principal at Pascack Valley High School. The children have been moved to a private home outside Bergen County.
Tonight, a Roman Catholic cardinal has been killed in a drug shootout in Mexico. It happened at the Guadalajara airport. A Mexican news agency reports that Cardinal Juan Jesus Posadas Ocampo and 5 other victims were hit as bullets flew between drug traffickers. Posadas was at the airport to greet the papal nuncio, who was on a visit to Mexico. And back in New York, a Park Avenue doctor is under investigation tonight. Police say he was operating an illegal sperm bank, that he used his own sperm to inseminate more than 7 women and refused to reveal if he has the AIDS virus. A state prosecutor began looking into charges against Dr. Douglas Moss and a technician at Mount Sinai Medical Center last summer. Women who may have received the sperm are obviously worried.
We asked both of the donors to be tested for HIV and authorized release of those results to the recipients. Mr. Tedeschi did agree to do that. Dr. Moss refused.
Charges that Moss and his partner earned about $9,000 through this illegal sperm bank are pending. And Jersey City police are looking for the man who sexually abused a 10-year-old boy this evening. That boy told the police he was walking home from school and the man called to him by name. Police found the boy in an alley on Armstrong Avenue. He was taken to Jersey City Medical Center for treatment. The suspect is reported to be a black male, 40 to 50 years old, with several front teeth missing, driving a red or burgundy full-size car with a gray interior.
The discovery was horrifying. The body of a young boy found in a trash compactor. And now the primary murder suspect is said to be the boy's stepfather, and he's reportedly in contact with police. Lou Young is live in East New York with more. Lou?
Indeed. So 31-year-old Stephen Poole considered himself the boy's stepfather. Police wonder tonight if he is in fact also the boy's killer. They say he's been calling them here at the 75th Precinct, but so far has not given himself up. Poole was living with the victim's so-called stepmother, a transsexual who was a blood relative of the boy. She is recovering from a knife wound. She says that that Poole stabbed her and then took the boy and left only hours before the body was discovered. It's a bizarre and convoluted tale of lurid lifestyles and tragedy. Ironically, Casey in Blackledge died as his natural mother was arranging to regain custody. The boy, who was strangled and then dumped into a Brooklyn trash compactor, had been with his transsexual so-called aunt since infancy. But the natural mother had since found a job and a home and had 4 more children and wanted him back. Too late, it turns out. Karen Blackledge showed her 4 other children to our Mary Civillo, although she stayed behind the apartment door out of sight. She talked with bitterness about Stephen Poole, the so-called aunt's live-in boyfriend, wanted for questioning in connection with the boy's death.
He just was a man who never talked but always smiled.
The young mother also wonders tonight how to explain what happened to Casey and to the other children.
He don't really understand the point of death, but he know his brother when he see him on the TV.
As for Stephen Poole, he is employed by the New York City Sanitation Department as an enforcement officer. The city has him listed as living out in Cambria Heights in Queens, but he was living in Jersey City with Dana Blackledge and Casey. They're still waiting for him to turn himself in. We're live in East New York, Brooklyn. Lou Young, News 4 New York.
All right, Lou, thank you very much. We told you at the top of the program this evening about 5 people being shot, 2 of them killed in Teaneck, New Jersey. We have Ben Farnsworth on the scene now with a live report. Ben?
Chuck, we're here in Teaneck, New Jersey at the corner of Wendell Place and Somerset, and what you had here was a wild gun battle in the street. Now, if you look behind me, you see a house here at the corner of Wendell and Somerset. Well, if you go into the second home, that is apparently where the gunplay occurred. It happened about 7:20. Neighbors say they heard the rat-tat-tat sound of automatic weapons. They heard numerous shots, they thought. Initially, of course, they thought it was a car backfiring or something like that. But once they realized it was gunfire, they called police immediately. And police came to the scene and found a horrific situation. Apparently, 2 people, possibly 3 people are dead. 2 others have been shot. 1 individual, we understand, ran down Wendell Place and was shot in the street. From that point, apparently, the group of shooters, alleged shooters, got into a car, headed to the George Washington Bridge, where the Port Authority police stopped them, and there the guns were thrown out, including Uzi machine guns and whatever. 7 or 8 people in custody, at least 2 or 3 people dead, 2 others wounded. That's all we know from this point. The police are very closed-mouthed about this one. Chuck, Sue, back to you.
Okay, Ben, thank you. All New Jersey paroles from prison have been put on hold for 3 months. Lawmakers made that move today in the wake of the brutal murder of a 7-year-old Passaic girl. The rape and murder on May 5th of Davina Genoa caused a state Senate committee to re-examine New Jersey's parole system. A former inmate, Conrad Jeffrey, is accused of killing that child. Jeffrey had been paroled from prison 6 weeks before the murder.
6 black Secret Service agents are suing the Dennys restaurant chain. They say they are the victims of racial discrimination. The incident happened on April 1st at the Dennys in Annapolis, Maryland. The agents claim 15 white agents received their food, but they were not served their orders.
The only conclusion I could come to was that it was racially motivated. I couldn't think of anything else, and I've tried and I've tried. I'm not the type of person who just want to jump up and say, okay, racial discrimination is just not in my blood. It's just not me.
The company is committed to the investigation and elimination of any possible racial discrimination.
The manager of the restaurant was fired today for not reporting the incident. Dennys also says the agents were the victims of poor service. Well, can you catch a heart attack? Plenty still to tell you about on News 4, an incredible new theory on heart attacks. Could a common germ be a culprit?
And look who's back in the spotlight and still making him laugh. Johnny Carson in the Big Apple. Plus, you saw the triumph over tragedy in tonight's Hurricane Andrew movie. Now find out if it could happen here. And Al Roker has tomorrow's weather.
That's right, a lot calmer. We've got some hot, humid weather coming with some thunderstorms tomorrow. But tomorrow morning for the kids, well, kind of a sticky day off the way to school. We'll have the rest of the forecast in the 5 days ahead when News 4 at 11 continues.
I call the line.
We call the line.
I call the line.
Dial 1-800-347-DOLL and join in on the party. Live, exciting conversation with beautiful, interesting gals from all over America. The Party Line. It's better than ever before. You always have a friend to talk to when you call 1-800-347-DOLL. Only $2 per minute. Adults only.
Hey, Brooklyn. You asked for home entertainment at incredibly low prices, and we heard you.
Don't miss the grand opening of an incredible new Nobody Beats the Wiz Superstore, Tuesday, May 25th at 86th Street and Bay Parkway in Brooklyn. All stores celebrate with a grand opening sale on the top name brands in home entertainment, computers, cameras, cellular phones, music, movies, and a whole lot more. Don't miss the grand opening of the newest Nobody Beats the Wiz on Bay Parkway in Brooklyn.
Nobody beats the Wiz. Nobody beats the Wiz.
In News for Your Health tonight, an amazing new theory that has the medical community abuzz. Some doctors are saying you might be able to catch a heart attack, sort of like you catch a cold through a germ. News 4's Dr. Max Gomez has more.
John Mazer is lucky to be alive. The 51-year-old chemical worker had 2 big heart attacks that destroyed so much of his heart that his only hope is the heart transplant he's waiting for here at Columbia Presbyterian Medical Center.
Well, I came in for a bypass, and apparently my heart muscles were in very bad shape, and I was put on the pump here. It saved my life.
Yet John had none of the major risk factors for heart disease. So while doctors continue to work on his case, there may be an explanation for cases similar to his. Researchers in Finland and elsewhere have found circumstantial evidence of a link between an infection with a bacterium called Chlamydia pneumoniae and people who suffer heart attacks. The chlamydia is different from the strain that causes venereal disease. This strain is a common cause of pneumonia and other respiratory problems. About half of all Americans are infected by the germ by adulthood, nearly 3/4 by the age of 65. Still, that's not enough reason to say that this or any bacterium causes heart disease.
The blockages may have been present first, and the bacterium or the virus may inhabit the already damaged areas. They may be there just because they like the environment. You know, it's a nice place to be.
Even if chlamydia turns out to be a factor in heart attacks, and that's a big if, it's probably the trigger in only a fraction of a million heart attacks a year. And no one knows yet how to identify the minority who might be at risk. Max Gomez, News 4 New York.
A group of girls at Markham Intermediate School in Staten Island are taking the field after winning a battle against sex discrimination. For 30 years, girls' softball games have been confined to this patch of concrete in the school playground, while boys competed on a fancy field. 2 co-eds collected 88 names on a petition that convinced the principal to let the girls also have a chance to play on the fancy piece of real estate.
If you don't stand up for what you believe in, nothing's going to happen.
From now on, boys and girls teams will take turns using the painted field at the Markham School. Good for them.
Yes. Well, the real heroes who lived through the hell of a hurricane as we continue the disaster that inspired tonight's movie, Triumph Over Tragedy.
And he's been off the air for almost a year, but now Johnny Carson is back, jokes and all. Len is also gearing up for sports.
Chuck, we have a big night tonight. Can the Islanders keep it going, trying to stay alive in Game 5 tonight in Montreal? Look who's coming back to manage. The last place Mets visit the first place Phillies. At the stadium, the Yankees hosting Baltimore. Michael Jordan responds to being called a GOAT, and Dennis Bird walks to the podium after seeing his film. All coming up tonight in sports on News 4 at 11.
Discover the distinction of excellence at Greco Mazda.
Throughout the years, Greco Mazda has been serving northern New Jersey with quality automobiles at affordable pricing. So whether you're buying or leasing, Greco Mazda will satisfy all your transportation needs.
How do I know so much about Greco Mazda? I'm Deborah Greco, and this is my father, Jim.
Our family's name and reputation go on every car we deliver.
Discover the distinction of excellence at Greco Mazda, Route 46, Rockaway, New Jersey.
A whole new way to have an orgasm. They're making love with machines. Next Donahue, cyber sex. It's virtual reality. You push the button, you choose the partner, you get the ultimate electronic experience. And with Virtual Valerie, you can have sex with your favorite movie star. Is this the end to traditional lovemaking? Electronic love games are here, and we'll prove it. Next Donahue.
Tomorrow at 4, only on WNBC 4 New York.
9 months after Hurricane Andrew roared through South Florida, residents are still trying to rebuild their lives and their homes. Much of the area remains as it did after the storm hit. Many homes are so badly damaged they cannot be fixed. But determination and low-interest government loans are helping to get the area back on its feet.
Now the house is starting to look nice again, so you feel good there, but emotionally it's frightening.
It's unbelievable, you know, what hurricane that only lasted, a couple hours, it takes so long to rebuild.
But some businesses will never return. Their customers are gone, and it simply costs too much to repair the damage.
Well, as you just watched in the NBC movie Triumph Over Tragedy, a television weatherman at our sister station in Miami, WTVJ, stayed awake and on the air for days as the Southeast endured the ravages of Hurricane Andrew. Our own Al Roker is here with a News 4 Extra on that disaster and answers to whether such a storm could happen here.
Thanks a lot, Sue. It is a possibility a lot of people have been asking about. For the folks of South Florida, the voice of TV meteorologist Brian Norcross was the sound of calm in a time of terror. Neither his work nor the natural fury that inspired it will soon be forgotten.
Painful experiences.
I had no idea that this kind of power was possible.
He was heading right down the pike of due west at this point. 164 miles per hour.
All we can tell people is hang on.
Get a mattress over your head, get your family in there, and just wait this thing out.
August 24th, 1992, Hurricane Andrew hits the southeastern U.S. coast, leaving tens of thousands of people homeless and over $20 billion worth of damage, making it one of the worst natural disasters in our nation's history.
We expect that the storm is going to be in our neighborhood here.
TV meteorologist Brian Norcross of our sister station WTVJ in Miami had witnessed big storms before, but for him, this storm would be different. With his tireless coverage, he became the eyes, ears, and the calming voice for millions of frightened people in southern Florida.
My father and my brother-in-law are holding the door.
All right, well, as many people as you can get on that door, you need to do that. Now that I look back on it, people that were in their closet or in their bathroom in the pitch black with the house coming apart around them, and the only connection with the outside world was the voice coming out of the radio. It's not surprising, but it wasn't something I anticipated ahead of time.
179, take 2 mark.
Action, John!
And he probably didn't anticipate his experience would be made into a television movie, or that his efforts would impress the actor who portrayed him.
And I think Brian is a true hero. I really honestly believe that.
In March, residents in our tri-state area had to contend with the incredible losses due to that nor'easter that rocked the coastline. And although many lost their homes, the size of this storm was minuscule by comparison. And so the question remains, can a storm of Andrew's magnitude strike here?
We could get a pretty good hurricane up in this neck of the woods. We could be seeing winds in excess of 100 miles an hour and some really serious damage here.
No luck, Brian. It didn't weaken overnight, and it...
During tonight's movie, we watched Hurricane Andrew being tracked at the National Hurricane Center. The center's director, Dr. Bob Sheets, has been keeping his eye on hurricanes for nearly 30 years. And it's his job to make sure we're prepared for whatever Mother Nature has in store with the hurricane season coming upon us.
Preparedness is the name of the game. We learned from Hurricane Hugo, we learned from Hurricane Bob, and now we're learning from Hurricane Andrew.
If we have a major hurricane coming, can we evacuate the number of people that need to be evacuated?
There are plans in effect. We know how long it will take. If we have ample time to do that and people heed the warning, we will be able to evacuate almost everybody who's in harm's way.
Well, the Atlantic Coast hurricane season starts June 1st, ends November 30th. And by the way, Brian Norcross won a Peabody Award for his coverage and the help he provided the folks down there.
Congratulations to him.
Thank you. Thanks, Al. Well, we have some Carson comedy when we come back for you. The one-time king of late night grabs an award and throws some zingers.
And we'll see what kind of forecast Al Roker's throwing at us. But first, your Tuesday travel map.
Hi, I'm Neil Padgett, president, with a great offer from Wardley.
Discover the fun of owning an aquarium in Wardley's FinFax Aquarium Handbook, yours free at Petland discounts, featuring the most popular tropical marine pond and goldfish, plus recommended feeding programs.
Join the fun. Get Wardley's Aquarium Handbook free and Petland discounts.
Petland discounts for the best care a pet can get.
In healthcare, as in life, some things have a way of changing right before our eyes. At GHI, being on top of those changes in technology, administrative, and cost containment programs is an important part of our managed care plan. But just as important are the things we wouldn't dream of changing, like our dedication to people's well-being and the quality the name GHI has stood for over half a century. GHI, the good news in healthcare.
David DiPiano of Revere, Massachusetts is telling us about his heat rash problems.
I drove a truck for a number of years, and a lot of times with your back up against the seat, you get like a heat rash. It was red, it was itchy, like a blotchy sort of a rash. It was irritating. You always knew it was there.
But David DiPiano got relief using Triple Action Gold Bond Medicated Powder.
Well, Gold Bond Medicated Powder does it all. The second I put it on, it stopped the itch, it cooled, it stayed with me. You know, throughout the day, you could still feel that cooling sensation.
Gold Bond's Triple Action is like 3 great powders in one. It has the absorbing action of powder, the medicating action of a proven itch fighter, and the drying action of zinc oxide. That's Triple Action Gold Bond.
And even if you don't have a rash, if you're hot and you perspire all day, and you put that on, you feel clean, you know, all over. Gold Bond Medicated Powder. I have it on right now.
Try Triple Action Gold Bond Medicated Powder.
Well, late-night legend Johnny Carson picked New York for his first public appearance since leaving The Tonight Show last year. Johnny was here in Midtown to accept an award from the prestigious Center for Communications. And he couldn't resist a few pokes at the industry he helped shape.
I'm sticking up for television because I think it's a marvelous, marvelous medium, and I'm optimistic about it. Of course, as you probably know, an optimist in the entertainment business is an accordion player with a beeper. I knew you would love that. I noticed that Dan Rather is teaming up with Connie Chung. Tom Brokaw, going to do a show with Katie Couric. I suppose now ABC will jump aboard and team Roseanne Arnold with Peter Jennings. I can see it now, the bad and the beautiful.
He was the same old Carson. It was really terrific to see him on stage, wasn't it?
It is so effortless watching him. I mean, he just the master.
Well, he makes it look effortless, but it is really an amazing, unique skill.
Yes, it is. Not unlike this.
What?
Please. Anyway, let's take a look, show you what's going on. We got plenty of sunshine tomorrow. But first, tonight, a hot, muggy night. 74 degrees, cloudy skies, a lot of haze and humidity out there. Satellite picture, here's what's going on. Cold front getting ready to push its way on out of here. As it does, it's still back to our west, a southwesterly breeze, keeping things fairly warm and humid. And as the front gets closer tomorrow, we're looking for showers and thunderstorms to develop. And once that moves through, we've got some nice weather to talk about. Forecast for you for tonight, we're going to be calling for fair to partly cloudy skies. Overnight lows, low 60s north and west, upper 50s to mid to upper 60s along the coastal sections. Tomorrow morning, look for partly cloudy skies. Temperatures in the low to upper 60s to near 70 degrees for much of the area. And then during the day tomorrow, afternoon or evening showers and thunderstorms. Some of them could move in here from west to east a little earlier in the day as temperatures heat up into the mid-80s away from the water, closer to shore, temperatures in the mid-70s. Extended outlook for you looking like this. For Wednesday, once the front moves through, it's going to be delightful. Fair skies on Wednesday, lower humidity, a high of about 73 degrees. Thursday, look for fair skies, 75. Friday, variably cloudy, scattered showers possible, 74. Then heading into the weekend, looks like another nice one. Partly sunny, 76 degrees. Now here's Chuck and Sue.
Thank you, Al. Well, have the Islanders finally run out of gas up north? The Canadiens go for the clincher at the Forum. Len Berman in sports up next.
Fern, timing is very important, and that's why you should buy at Autoland in Springfield, New Jersey. They've got to sell 1,000 cars in just 10 days to meet their factory quotas. All backed by Autoland's worry-free double the difference guarantee. That means if you find a lower advertised price anywhere, Autoland will pay you double the difference in cold, hard cash, even after you buy. With no down payments and no payments until after Labor Day. The competition? Don't worry about the competition. Autoland crushes the competition. Know what I mean?
Hey, Brooklyn, you asked for home entertainment at incredibly low prices, and we heard you.
Don't miss the grand opening of an incredible new Nobody Beats the Wiz Superstore, Tuesday, May 25th at 86th Street and Bay Parkway in Brooklyn. All stores celebrate with a grand opening sale on the top name brands in home entertainment, computers, cameras, cellular phones, music, movies, and a whole lot more. Don't miss the grand opening of the newest Nobody Beats the Wiz on Bay Parkway in Brooklyn.
Nobody beats the Wiz. Nobody beats the Wiz.
Teacher tells us all we gotta do is just say no. And the other day, a policeman came to our class talking about say no too. Well, my teacher doesn't have to walk home through this neighborhood. And maybe the dealers are scared of the police. But they're not scared of me. And they sure don't take no for an answer.
Kevin Scott and all the other kids who take the long way home. We hear you. Don't give up.
Patrol the airport with police looking for drunks.
I told you not to be stupid.
Cops, tomorrow at 7, only on 4 New York.
End of the line for the Islanders. That's it. They've run out of miracles. Eliminated tonight in Montreal, Chuck. Montreal in the home white, striking just 58 seconds into the game. Kirk Muller beat Glenn Healy, and in the second period, they scored twice within 9 seconds. J.J. Daigneault here, followed by Ryan Bellows. That broke the game open, a 5-0 lead. Montreal winning it 5-2. A nice run by the Islanders. Stops in 5 games. The Canadiens go to the finals again. NBA playoffs, game 1 in Phoenix. The Suns in the home white against Seattle tonight. Charles Barkley, he'll go all the way as the seconds wind down in this game. Phoenix now leads it by 16 points. Phoenix will win game 1. Knicks and Bulls, game 2 tomorrow night at the Garden. Michael Jordan was asked about being called a GOAT in game 1.
I won't walk away from blame. I had some shots that I missed, and I really could have easily been the GOAT yesterday. But it's two sides to a coin, and yesterday I could have been the GOAT. You never know what it might be tomorrow.
All right, Lenny Wilkens quit in Cleveland. Former Islander coach Terry Simpson gets the Flyers job, and the Cincinnati Reds fired Tony Perez after just 44 games. And Davey Johnson, 3 years after being fired by the Mets, resumes managing in quieter Cincinnati.
No question about it. I won't miss 70 cameras in after the game and about 100 writers. It'll be nice to have more of a family-type atmosphere with the writers. I enjoyed the media in New York, and the guys, I got along real well with them, but it'll be nice to not have so much media competing for stories.
Tony Perez said he got a raw deal in Cincinnati, and he's right. The Mets tonight, traveling down to Philadelphia. Pete Incaviglia for the Phillies. 2 home runs off Frank Tanana. This one made it 1-0 Phillies in the second inning. The big blow in the game, Dave Hollins in the 5th. A 3-run shot. Phillies win at 6-3. Tommy Green goes 6-0. Dallas Green unsuccessful in his return to Philadelphia, where he won it all in 1980. The Yankees hosting the Orioles tonight at the stadium. Baltimore batting around in the 5th. Chris Hoiles, a 3-run homer. A 6-run inning chased Jim Abbott. But the Yankees did come all the way back. Kevin Moss, his second of the night off Rick Sutcliffe. A 3-run shot, tied it at 6 in the 6th. The top of the 7th. Cal Ripken, long homer off Andy Cook. 7-6 Orioles, and in the 8th inning, Danny Tartabull and Wright run into by Gerald Williams. Tartabull headed to the hospital with a bruised back. 8-6 Baltimore, the final. Boston beat the Tigers in 10. 2 Devon White homers for Toronto. Rookie Tom Kramer pitched a 1-hitter for Cleveland. The Cardinals won in 11. And the Jets premiered their '93 film today entitled Courage. And Dennis Bird was there to watch it.
A freakish collision turned everyone's thoughts to a man in the prime of his life.
And Bird watched it today with his wife, seeing the film for the first time.